Released in 1996, when retro wasn't particularly in vogue beyond some classic arcade games and Atari packages being released, the PlayStation received a special package of both Bubble Bobble and Rainbow Islands. This package consists of 3 games, Bubble Bobble, Rainbow Islands and Rainbow Islands Enhanced, which already feels as though it could be a pointless exercise. The disc boots up with a rendered FMV intro, which looks very ropey by today's standards, but we start off with one of my all-time favourite games, Bubble Bobble. Now call me a purist, but rather disappointingly, it's not an exact copy of the arcade version. It's as though they've taken it and ever so slightly remastered it, so to speak. The music has a slightly different sound to the arcade, not in a bad way, but just different. The sprites have had a bit of extra colour and contours added to them too. But the level design largely remains the same, but again, it's not identical to the arcade fully. All of these things shouldn't really matter, and I guess when it was released at the time, it was probably considered more of a plus point. But today, if a classic is remade, you tend to get the option to switch between the classic visuals and sound and the modern remake. But anyhow, niggles aside, the gameplay is all here and plays well enough like Bubble Bobble really. But there are a few things that just feel a bit different. In many ways, these differences make the game kind of unique and probably more collectible as a result. Next, it's Rainbow Islands. Rainbow Islands was never quite as popular as Bubble Bobble in the arcade, but received quite a fan base on the 8-bit and 16-bit home computers. It is a bit odd with this package that places more emphasis on Bubble Bobble in its title, that Rainbow Islands is the one that gets 2 separate versions of the game. As with Bubble Bobble, it quickly becomes apparent that Rainbow Islands is not a direct arcade port, with the classic music being a bit different to the original. Similar but almost more of a remix. But there's less, generally speaking, different with Rainbow Islands than with Bubble Bobble, with the levels and the boss battles still being the same. My feeling is that this port is more of a satisfying recreation of the arcade original. Now, the odd addition of Rainbow Islands Enhanced. There's nothing particularly wrong with this. It is a nice little extra being bundled in, to be honest. The enhancements are as you would expect, with some really nice backgrounds, improved sprites and level graphics with many more colours being used. I guess if you were going to choose a version to play, you might as well choose the enhanced version, since the other version of Rainbow Islands on this disc is not arcade faithful either, so you might as well just go for something different. Give this version a go, as you would not experience this with any other version of the game. Bubble Bobble featuring Rainbow Islands is a bit of an oddity in the PlayStation library, and comes across half-baked, especially by today's standards in remaking retro classics. But nonetheless, it's still worth a play, if not just to experience alternative versions of Bubble Bobble and Rainbow Islands.